Einstein says spend 90% of the time that you have working on the problem and spend 10% on the solution. And so this, to me, both this video and human-centered design, is spending that majority of the time on looking at the problem. Hi guys, welcome to my little whip presentation. Today we are going to be talking about this project. Let's get into it. So, first thing we need is who, what, why about whatever's going on here. I choose to do the first human rights, and from there, the first article. First article is, all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. They're endowed with reason, conscience, and should act towards one another in a spirit of brotherhood. The idea of the spirit of brotherhood really caught my attention, and just in terms of looking at a society at the moment and the way that the world works, I was like, wow, this idea of brotherhood, just doesn't really exist at all unless you're mates. But I don't know, something about brotherhood and culture and community, I don't know, I just don't really see it that much, and so I was really excited to look into it. But the main thing is that it caught my attention because it reminded me of something that I already knew about, which is this Live Aid concert. What happened was in 1985, these bunch of rock and pop stars decided that they were sick of the just absolute famine in Ethiopia, and they wanted to do something about it. They've got this money and this power and this fame and this wealth. Why do other people have to suffer if we're perfectly fine? They took to it by this Irish dude and this Scottish dude. Together they came up with this concert in London and a sister version in Philadelphia. From those two concerts, we're going to raise money, we're going to get all their total rock stars, do this concert, get all these people, have all these phone lines, bring in all this money and solve this famine. There ended up being 150 different concerts around the world. Apparently almost 1.9 billion people went to them. That's correct. Ends up being like 40% of the population at that time, which is just absolutely insane. Reports say that by the next day they'd raised 50 million, and then all of the concerts raised $150 million. Wow, what the heck? This is insane. They did this amazing effort. Everyone pitched in, literally international effort to save Africa. And what happened was that the funds had to go through the government of Africa, but then through that, only a percentage went to the actual charities doing work to save the famine. It just didn't go to plan at all. So my favourite part it shows is that people are not motivated to give money. When called to act, they will act. Okay, so there's this fantastic dude, let's talk about him, Adam Ferrier. He writes this book called The Advertising Effect, How to Change Behaviour. It's amazing. It looks like a Coke bag because advertising is addictive. I had the honour of doing a 2-day workshop with him at my last work doing marketing stuff, and he's just amazing. And he talks about this axis of which you have ease and motivation, and there are two barriers to people acting, and it's either that they're not motivated or that it's too hard. I think what this event, even all the way back in 1985, proved is that people are actually motivated to help people. That is what makes you feel this sense of altruism and worth, and that you are part of something bigger than yourself. And if we're looking at millennials, especially the generation of yuppies at current, which have the highest disposable amount of income, the people to be able to donate to charity to actually change something also happen to be the biggest group of people that want to change the world. 1/3 of millennials are working in either a non-for-profit or a business that their purpose is to actually have social impact and global change. The motivation is there. People want to change something, they want to do something. The fact is they've lost their hope in the capacity for charities to actually change the world. The thing is, when we look at this example, we can see that it's not actually charities that are at the loss here. This shows that the motivation is there. And I mean, if we look at charity advertising, empathy, boom, they're nailing it. There's starving children. You cannot feel bad and want to do something when you're looking at starving children. You just can't. So they're nailing that. That means this campaign's purpose is actually to change the ease. Everything that wants their money is doing a lot better job of making it easy to take their money through either distraction or difficulty. It's just too hard. Einstein says spend 90% of the time that you have working on the problem and spend 10% on the solution. And so this, to me, both this video and human-centered design, is spending that majority of the time on looking at the problem. This identification of whether it is motivation or ease is something that is really important because it determines where the issue lies. Like if you look at any type of e-commerce site, look at Instagram, shoppable Instagram post literally takes you under 5 steps to get something posted to your door. It's just insane. By the time you've gotten to the charity's website, clicked on something, it takes too long for you to be able to give money. It's too hard. We know that impulse is an issue. We know that people have short attention spans, instant gratification. We know all of this. And so the point is to actually step up where charities are so that they can play on the same field. If there was an event, if there was a campaign that had literally every single one of biggest stars tied to it, you couldn't say no. Like, that's tribalism. That is everything that you want to be. It is your reference group, which this book talks all about it. The idea that you have this reference group, and at the moment, because of social media being our biggest externalization, that is where our influences come from. Influencers have been around for ages. This idea of your reference group, which is I'll be happy when I'm doing what they're doing. I'll be happy when I get to these people. Adam Ferris has 3 different steps for how you can improve ease. The first one is skill up. Stop, I don't know how. This initial campaign would be education based. So people can't say, but I don't know how to donate to charity. Why is it so hard? Kind of like when we're at the end of that Cambodia video and we were left going, well, how do I help? What am I meant to do? You're cutting out that opportunity. That's your first step. The first bump up. The second one is eliminate complexity, knock down the hurdles. Essentially what this is looking at is just like, where is it actually too hard? And I think that's the main thing that I see as an issue with comparing e-commerce to charities, and it is that e-commerce is literally like under 5 steps. How fast can you get them to buy something? And then as a returning customer, it's even faster. So it's kind of like looking at what are the actual barriers. And then the third one is commitment. How small requests can lead to bigger agreements. And I think the important thing about this is when you help someone, you like them and you want to be liked by them. And so looking at influencers, looking at social media, we like posts, we share posts, we do everything. We help people get more money. We are literally the reason influencers are successful. It's because we are supporting them. And so we want to be liked by them. But when they do something, we want to do that something because, again, they're the influencer. We want to be them. This is another really important area of commitment, and I see influencers being really crucial to this campaign working. So it'll be tied into this for sure. It's time for the steps of human-centered design. What's up? Here we go, kids. I'm going to run through all the different methods that I plan on using for this whole project through the different stages now, and then we'll go through the first 3 that I've already done, which will be fun. For our inspiration phase, first we did Frame Your Design Challenge. Then we did recruiting tools. Given that recommendation, we followed on from there with extremes and mainstream, tying back into this idea of this concept where you've literally got 150 countries involved. They just absolutely nailed mainstream and extremes all off the chart. You've got this whole like grid thing, and the majority of you people are here. The best way to be successful is not actually being better, you have to be the best. And the easiest way to be the best is to create your new market, something that doesn't exist. That's potentially where the communication of this campaign really needs to be clear, because I think what's going to happen here is actually going to be something quite new, especially with the engagement of social media being the major fundamental. They are our 3 for inspiration. Now, moving on to stage 2 is ideation. So, what are we doing here? Let's find out, because I actually don't know yet. I'll be back. Well, step 1. We'll be doing the journey map, which technically I'm already starting, because I'm doing it at the end of this video. So, hold on tight. We are deep diving into the ideation phase by the end of this. Round 2. What is it? Create framework. I don't know how original we have to be with these frameworks, but I think, for example, Ease and Motivation is one that I've already talked to you about from this book, and I think that's really important. Further research of donating money versus social media. Actually, I think I'd be able to come up with more frameworks after talking to people that are social media based, which I'm going to try to do in the next phase. Let's see how it goes. It's a bit scary. The next one we're going to do, I think, will be business model canvas. They give you an example, and then you get to kind of build it through there. And that ties into PayPal, this business model that's functional, and this idea of like a new system needs to exist for this new time. PayPal was the how do we pay now that we have the internet, and I think this is the how do we pay now that we have social media. 3 things for implementation. Woo! Here we go. First one is keep iterating. This is really important. To me, this is something that I really would like to actually exist in the world. And so it will keep evolving after this assignment, and I think that is really important for me to keep in mind, because it means my idea of success. I don't expect completion to actually be at the end of this 12-week, 8-week, 6-week period. This moves on to the next stage, to build partnerships from the people that I sourced at the beginning. Many of those who are influencers of both the extreme and mainstream are people that this business or concept would work with. And so human-centered design is the fact that there are other people, other professionals, other parts of this project concept that to be successful need their expertise in social media, in business, in influencer world, in branding, posting, whatever it is, getting people on board, making people move. People know their own tribe, and that's what we're really trying to collaborate with, and it's how can we create a system that speaks to that. Melbourne's all about collaboration, right? So let's do the Melbourne thing. Finally, number 3 is create a pitch, and that kind of ties into the last one as well. I thought my goal at the end of this is to be a package pitch. From what I've done from my research, to engage further with these people and actually be able to communicate with them and make stuff happen with them as fast as possible. It's all about having that really clean pitch. Here's what I've got. How can we work with this? What can you bring to the table? So that's all our stages. Now, it's time to actually show you some work for what we have done for the ideation phase. Here we go! So frame the problem. I went through the process and it was really helpful to spend time really refining all the elements in my head and tune it down to the essence of the issue and then the essential impact needed. Once again, this was all about ease, but turning that into a functional question beyond the idea. The question is now, how might we remove barriers to making impulsive donations? Next is recruiting. A great exercise in learning what I need to ask, what gaps are left to fill beyond my observation and research. Then who can answer these? I put it down to first categorizing by publishers or followers and explored more in extremes and mainstreams. Of the publishers, I'm going to use analytical data to what each category's following is made up of, which will determine their needs further, as well as their values and time spent on social media. I've decided to make this process more efficient by recruiting pioneers and professionals of these areas. Peter Kelly. She's a pro at encouraging her followers to circulate their wealth to causes that they want to invest in. I can't wait to learn from her experience of trying to achieve the same impact using current technology. Dan. He's a professional problem solver, working with everyone from technicians and coders to scientists and Google to create immersive experiences. I'd love to hear what pitfalls he might foresee as well as the opportunities. And finally, Adam is a consumer pro, experienced with psychology and campaigns. He's the perfect eye to pick apart my ideas and challenge my understanding of the issue. Okay, let's talk about some solutions. First is education. If how-to videos are the new infographic, then this is where it's at. Creating a humorous, entertaining video around educating steps to donation. Pretty simple, really. Next is simplify. Incorporating a monetized like button that allows consumers to impulsively donate to emotive, persuasive posts for charities and the like. This would be developed as an underground campaign from the people to essentially peer pressure Facebook and Instagram to add this monetized feature, motivating them from the ground up and really challenging their values as a company. The next phase is inspired by human-centered design business model. Using a video as a how-to introduction for the launch is essential to smooth running and a sense of familiarity. Then using the same solution fundamentals of simplifying, but taken to the next level, creating one brand that is the founding party of this activity instead of 3. This uses their existing Apple ID or Android account to facilitate billing, brands they already trust and are signed up with. This creates more trust, but also less barriers to trip the consumer mind as they flow through this transition. Culture can be developed around this, and that's what will ultimately lead to its success. Next, I did my favorite exercise for creating names, listing as many connotations from the core principles of the solution need: brotherhood, giving, like, social media, and connection. From here, I mixed and paired every combination I could from their started logo development. Branding for the video would be titled Donating for Dummies. Adding to the humor and playful nature of the video, I especially love this thumbs up illusion created by the money bag. Next, the ground up campaign would be titled Reach, playing on the concept of trying to reach this goal, reach this donation amount, and ultimately reach each other in global connection. I was feeling a sense of reach being somewhat negative, all about trying, but not certain on achieving. Make and reign is a verb that has a sense of creativity, progress, and ease to it. exactly what we want. From there, working with the idea of abundance and flow is rain. That feeling of when rain finally falls, what it would feel like when charities or organizations finally get donations flowing. Gratitude. There's a sense of play and creativity, ownership. I'm still refining, but I like where the concept is going, especially the lightning and the power before the storm, as well as these coins that feel a bit more like tokens than real money. Again, important. I've started the customer journeys for publisher and follower with the make and rain concept, with the publisher choosing to enable monetization on their post, choosing the donation default amount, tagging the charity or organization they're supporting, as well as whether or not there is a counter for the amount raised, increasing tribalism. There is a bigger journey that is currently being explored and refined, which is the different ways organizations and charities might engage with this, their relationship with the influencer, and how they might give back to their audience with awesome results. Then for the follower, this journey starts with the discovery of the post, then the choice to donate, and then choosing the default amount or more. Once confirmed, there is a rain dance where their phone vibrates, coin rain falls down the screen, and it's a massive celebration. There is also a 5-second undo banner at the bottom of their screen if they make a mistake. Finally, they can share a hashtag #MadeItRain story, sharing their post they donated to with their community. There's a real sense of winning, tribalism, and ultimately fulfillment. Anyway, so that's all my work that I've been doing over the last few weeks. Look forward to kind of your perception and your interpretations of what I've got to say here. Yeah. I'll also leave my blog link here that I've been kind of tracking websites and references and all that you can find in there. If you have any feedback or like interesting thoughts, I'd love to hear. Cool. Bye.
Looking good, Kevin. How's the family? Good? All right.